how to play the electric bass, part 2. We're going to start right off with how to open the case. It's important to open the case correctly so that the instrument doesn't fall out and break or damage. A lot of basses, if you just have your own bass, a lot of them come in with a soft case with a zipper. And if that's the case, it's a little less complicated. You just unzip it and pull it out. If you have a hard case like mine, here, a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, there's a logo on this case. And if there is a logo on your case, it's usually on the top side of your case. Okay, if you look on the back of this case, you'll see there's no logo. Okay, so that's a good clue that this is the top since there's a logo right on this side. Another clue is the handle is usually on the bottom of the case. So you can see this handle is on the bottom half. It's on this half. That's a good clue. And another clue is these latches. If the latch has lots of parts that dangle around, then usually that's the bottom part of the case too, because you don't want, same with the handle and the latches, you don't want them all flapping around when you open the case up. Okay, so those are kind of some clues on to what side is the bottom. Now I'm going to set it on the floor over here and open it up and see what we got. So here we have the case on the floor. We just undo the latches. And then open it up. And you'll see how there's a reason why it's important. This whole guitar is put in there so that it won't fall out if you open it the right way. If it was sitting on this side, it'd be upside down, and we just want to make sure we open the case the right way. So we have the bass in here. We have our guitar strap. We'll talk about that in a second. And we have our patch cord. So we're going to talk about all those things. So keeping your case on the floor, you grab your guitar, and a good place to grab is a couple places. You can grab here by the body. You can grab the neck and just set it in your lap. And we're going to talk about this guitar strap. On your bass guitar, there's a spot right here, and then there's this other silver spot right here, and that's where your guitar strap connects to. You have this little spot here which has a little hole, and then kind of another little line so that you can get that on to your bass guitar. So you just kind of stick that around there and then pull it so that it's on that bottom part on the little hole. Okay, and then just stick this around and stick this right here. Okay, and then this arm comes through this way. And so now you have that strap on there. It's not 100% required while you're sitting to have the strap, but it is helpful. That way you don't have to worry about it falling over, or you can have it there. We also have this for when we stand. So when you're standing with the bass, you definitely want to have the strap, and you want to adjust the strap. It can go longer and shorter to change how high or low the bass is. And I like for the bass to have it higher than lower. Okay, so you see it's up here, and that kind of just makes it easier for me for my hands. I don't have to reach real far down to play. It's just right here, right where my hands are. And so you kind of put it up there, and you're going to find a spot that works for you. If it's too low, I'm going to tell you to tighten it up, but there's a range there that's going to be fine as long as it works for you. That's good. So you want to adjust your strap so that it's the right height for you. For now, we're just going to be seated, talking about the bass a little bit. So get your bass out, get your strap connected. The next part is your patch cord. Now this cord gets plugged into your amp. Usually it's a little spot that says input. So here's the amp, and you'll see right here on the back there's a lot of knobs and buttons. And right over here on this amp, every amp's different, but on this amp you see that little spot that says input right there, and that's where you plug your cord into. While we're here looking at these knobs and things, let's just go ahead and look at the back of the amp so you can see right back here, right here, is the on and off switch.
This is where you're going to turn it on and off.
So I've plugged my patch cord one end into the amp on that input, and the other one goes on this bass right here. A lot of basses are like this. Some of them have input just on the top here, but this bass, it gets plugged in right here. Okay, and it snaps in there, real secure. And then after you do that, then you turn it on, the amp. Don't turn the amp on before you plug it in or before you unplug it when you're done. Okay, so turn the amp on, and once it's on, there's a little red light that comes on this amp. Every amp's different, and they look a little different. Sometimes there's multiple inputs, and so if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Throughout all these videos, if you have questions, you can put a comment in the video. You can send me an email if you're in my class, or you can talk to me in class. And I'd be happy to talk through some of those questions you might have. But anyway, so now it's on. Now if I play it, you can hear it, the sound coming out of that amp. Now if I turn the volume all the way down, these are volume knobs. Actually, I'll come up there. You have two volume knobs, these two, and this is a tone knob. Okay, so this volume knob controls the volume of these pickups right here. This volume knob controls the volume from this pickup, and then this tone knob controls whether it's the tone of the instrument. So you hear that difference in tone, and then the volume here. If I turn it all the way down, both of them all the way down, you'll hear. You can't hear it like when it's turned on. Okay. So we'll talk more about those volume knobs and what works and what we want you to do for various classes. Sometimes it's a little different for concert band, if you're playing this in concert band, than it is in jazz band. And we might want a different sound. So for now, just turn your knobs, both of the volume knobs, up about halfway. And that's a good place to start. And then there's lots of different knobs on the amp that change things as well. So we'll cover some more of that in later videos or in class. So for now, what I want you to do is practice getting the instrument out, getting it ready, maybe adjusting that neck strap so it's the right height for you, and putting it all together, plugging it in, and making sure it's working, and then putting it all back away. And it's really easy. First thing you do, turn off the amp. Okay, that just helps to prevent feedback and different things going into that amp. Unplug your patch cord. Roll up your patch cord nicely. You just roll it up like this. Okay, make sure it doesn't get twisted and tangled. Just roll it up real nice. And then you just put that in the case. Not too tight. You don't want to roll it up real tight. Then you take off your guitar strap. Put the bass away. Always make sure the bass goes in the case the way that it's supposed to go in the case. Don't forget to put your guitar strap in there. This particular case has a place for each of these things. Not all do, but this one does. And then you close your case and latch it up. Okay. A couple things to keep in mind. Please do not put other things in the case unless they fit within the little compartments that are there. But don't put like a book on top of the bass guitar or your music on top and close it. The case is designed to hold the bass in there, and that's it. And if you put other things in there, you can push down on parts of the bass, like the knobs or the pickups or other things, and damage it by doing that. So don't put other things in there that don't go in there. Okay? So practice getting it out, getting it ready, and then putting it back away, and all those steps that we kind of talked about. And the reason why it's important you practice that is because you got to get to class and get ready to play quickly so that we have as much time in class as we can use. And then also at the end of class, when we say it's time to pack it up, you got to get that put away and put back where it goes before you get to your next class, and so that you want to make sure you get to your next class on time, so you're not late to class. So you want to make sure you're practicing that a little bit once or twice at home. that'll help you to be familiar with it, so it's not so complicated and new, and we can focus on other new things and playing music and stuff. So practice that a few times. On page 2 has a diagram of a bass and all the different parts of the bass. Look over that page, make sure you understand everything that's on there. And also on there it has a little box that talks about the bass and some other things. And one of the things it talks about is tuning, and that it kind of explains that a little more on page 46. So before we'll get to the tuning later and how to do that. But what you want to do is on a phone or a device, go to your app store, whatever it's Google Play or whether it's your Apple App Store or whatever you've got. Go and find a tuner for a bass. Okay, now you can find a chromatic tuner, that would work too, but sometimes these bass tuners are really nice because they tune just your strings, and it's really helpful to know if you're in tune. It's really, really important to make sure all your strings are in tune. Right now, you don't need to worry about that too much other than to know you need a tuner. Okay, so I'm going to show you the tuner I got. So here's a tuner I got. You can see there's already a needle moving around because I'm talking, and it's trying to pick up my voice and figure out what string it is, even though it's not a string, it's my voice. But it's really easy. You can see it's a bass, it has 4 strings, and it's trying to figure out which note it is. Now if I were to play the bass, and we'll do this later, you'll see it go exactly, it'll show you if you're in tune or not. But it's important nonetheless that you get a tuner for your bass. You can buy them. You can buy them on app stores. You can go to the music store and buy an actual tuner for a bass. Or you can just, this one that I got on this app, this is a free app. So it works fine too. So just make sure you have a tuner. So on our next video, we'll talk about how to hold the bass, where our fingers go, and all of those types of things, and how to sit and how to stand when you're playing the bass. So join us on that one. And we'll see you next time.